welcome to Magical Lifestyle of a Cottage Witch. I am Mika, and I am going to share with you a Cottage Witch's morning routine. Now, full disclosure, you won't see me doing any actual spell work or anything like that. What I will be showing you is the practical magic side of cottage witchery, at least for this cottage witch, and how what appears or might appear to be a mundane activity is actually really magical and holds a lot of power. So I will walk you through everything from that first cup of tea to the rationale behind bed making to actual workings that I am consistently checking on, and sort of how I go about aligning first thing in the morning with that, as well as witchy planning. So if you like all of this type of stuff, go ahead and stay tuned and I'll start the video. My morning must-have is a warm beverage. It used to be coffee, but I'm very much a tea girly right now. And I have a bunch of my own personal made tea blends, and I've also purchased tea blends. So what I'm using now is something that I got in a subscription box some time ago. I don't even remember who and when, but it's delicious, and I've been trying to make good on using my literal stock. I'm very grateful that I even have so much that I, can shop my own pantry for new items. But this particular blend has been magical. When I use it, I find it very grounding. I mean, most mornings my cup of tea is very grounding. That's one of the reasons I enjoy doing it. It is sort of that line that separates my dream world from that rest world to sort of starting in an action mode for me. And it's a great jump off for that. So I'm intentional about the tea blends that I use because that's the purpose that I have in mind when I'm also drinking a cup of tea. My next course of action, I have got to check in with my plant babies. And I have been out of town, so I am checking to see the status of what's going on here. How are we doing? Some are faring better than others, but I'm a plant mama, so I'll figure out the best way to save them and to get them all healthy again. One of the things I like to do is have a conversation with my plants. I also like physical touch and just giving affection. This particular plant, I've been loving on her for some time, including this aloe plant for some time. And I do see the results. You can see new life. It's growing. It's doing well. One of the other things I do is plant from seed. And usually when I plant from seed, there is an overall intention because I'm going to use that herb, whether it's in kitchen magic or for incense or for dressing a candle or for some sort of bag or something. And my next action after saying hello to my plant babies is to tend to whatever magical workings I'm doing. And that's what I'm showing you here. This is sort of in progress. There's some spells and things like that I'm working on, and I'm just showing you that. Now I'm ready to sit down at my desk in my craft room / office and get to the business of the day. And that my cup of tea comes with me with that. Part of that is just doing some witchy planning. So I do have a witchy planner that I offer at leaftaken.com. It is a printable, so you can arrange it however you want, whatever makes sense for you. I like to, start my day like a lot of us. I read through my emails, look at any messages that I might have, and get on with my planning of the day. I will say this, I am one of those witches. I plan the mundane and I plan the magical. This planner actually has space for that, but I like to plan out all of that, and I do enjoy having it in one place. Everything from running to the post office to drop off packages to, cast a spell of protection for the LA protesters. And yes, I'm being very real on that. So I also, check the phone as well, just like the rest of us. But yeah, that is how I like to start my day, with plans. This is something I basically do almost every day. When I don't, I notice. So now it's time for me to get into a little tarot. Now, I don't do such a large spread every morning, but I had created this spread in my book of shadows for the Love Witch, and it has everything to do with love and attraction, not necessarily in the romantic sense, but that's why I created this particular spread. So I set up the pages in pencil, as I like to do. I like to start out in pencil, and then I come back and do all the decorative stuff with the highlighters and markers and things like that. So right now, I want to sort of try out this spread that I created and put in my book. And I figured today was a good morning. It felt right. And also I knew I was going to be filming. So I said, this might be a good thing to do. Now, I will tell you this. The cards that I'm pulling, for it to be about love and attraction, pulling a lot of swords. And I'm working through that right now. That tells me a lot. So just full moment of vulnerability. Yeah, there's some stuff going on over here. And that's why I did the reading. And it will help me process. And isn't that what it's all about? At least for me, when I do my own readings for myself, a lot of it is just usually to understand a situation that's already occurring, or sometimes to kind of take a peek into what will be happening. But honestly, I rarely check out future readings. It's more about just for me to break down and have a deeper understanding of sort of what's already happened or what is happening. And honestly, the longer you're practicing, the longer you're working any sort of divination, I think you'll find you'll be the same way. I find we're all kind of like that. Most of us who've been practicing for a while, we're not obsessed with the future. If you're casting spells for the future, you kind of already know, right? And you just have to believe in your magic. So now we're going to move on to making my bed. This is one of the most, outside of that cup of tea, it's one of the most important things that I have to do first thing in the morning. More than anything, this has a lasting effect throughout my day. As I move about my day, if I have to walk into my bedroom for any reason, I love seeing my bed made beautifully. I love seeing the linens, stacked up, and the pillows and everything just looking really beautiful. But more importantly, at the end of the day, coming into my bedroom, it feels like a goddess chamber. It feels like, the best place to go and rest. And that is super important to me. It is not something I typically skip. When I do, it's usually because there was an emergency or I was sick, something happened, but I almost make my bed almost every single morning. Now, my vanity. This is a place where I'm doing all sorts of magic. This is where the glamour comes in, the Love Witch, the Glamour Witch. Me spending time adoring myself, making myself up, is definitely a magical experience. Every day I have an opportunity to decide what do I want to present, even if it's just for me, because sometimes I don't leave the house. It might be an in-house day where, I basically I don't have a typical 9 to 5 where I have to go out. So I'm usually doing things in and around the home. This is an opportunity for me to just love on myself. This is an opportunity for me to either speak or think in terms of affirmations or just alignment to an intention, whether it's to attract, whether it's to be loving of myself. Listen, as we're going through, we're all aging, we're just at different points, but your face changes. There's, you know, gravity setting in. There's less and there's more. It's just a different face. And it's an opportunity for me to get to know me physically and get to love me. Because how are you going to attract love outward from someone else if you don't truly love yourself? You want somebody to be in your face, but you don't like your face. And that's just not going to be me. I can't. So I work on it. It is something I work on because this is me now. 5 years, it'll be different. Another 5 years, different, and so forth. So I'm learning to love every iteration of Mika. And part of that is thinking in terms of enhancement, not just cover up. So that means there's new features that I get to love. Emphasis on get to love. And I can cast my spells using my makeup tools. And almost everything that I have on my vanity right now is in fact enchanted. Most of the purpose is to just illuminate, to attract, to express love. I love walking around as the embodiment of someone who truly loves themselves. That's one of the best ways to show yourself to the outside world. Now, of course, I do all the protection and everything else that's handled. But ultimately, love, because it really is my superpower, and that's what this is all about. And again, it starts with self-love, most importantly. Another witch tip that I want to point out to you is when you are applying makeup or skincare or anything along those lines, or definitely hair, be very mindful of your intentions and your thoughts, mostly your thoughts. One of the things I had to learn to do was stop thinking negative about myself as I was pampering and applying makeup or doing my hair. I had to learn to stop doing that. And it's one of the best things that I've ever done because I get to cast actual spells that actually work because I have control over my mind. And it's not a fake it till you make it. I truly believe I see my beauty. I see the pretty, and I see the power, and I see the wisdom, and I see the love. And that's what it's all about for me. So thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this is inspiring to you. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or if you want to share a little bit about your magical morning routine. Otherwise, go ahead and like the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Go ahead and go to my website, leaptaken.com. You can check out the services that I offer. I also do readings as well as a host of other things. And the Book of Shadows for the Love Witch is also available on my website at leaptaken.com. And you can also order from Amazon and the TikTok shop. Thanks again. Bye.